and not I. Emphasizing on sounds, and some students get confused. That's how it's supposed to be written. I don't know whether you own books from the library, but I had asked you to do so. The ICT books are in the library. We are supposed to have them so that in case we have an activity, we actually check. Or else without them, how will we continue? So please, the secretary should make a point of doing that, to check on the books in the library. It's not rubbing. It needs a sanitizer or something to clean it up. Yeah, so we wrote about information and process. Yes? Yeah, so the next word should be communication. Communication. Well, the next we wrote technology, but some have not written anything. So you skip some space, like 3 lines, then you write communication and you come back to technology. You can start. If it's not giving you easy time, we'll see what to do. So the next is technology for some, but we are doing communication before we move to technology. So what is communication? Communication, it is the sending or receiving information between people or computers. Sending or receiving information between people or computers. So the moment you send a message to your mother through your class teacher using a phone, or you receive one, then communication is taking place. Or a computer. I have a computer, another teacher has a computer. I send an email. That is communication. So communication, I will require that you be careful in how you listen. Be keen, because this is a subject that is actually technical, and we need to understand everything. So we have said communication is what? Sending and receiving information. Sending or receiving information between people or computers. Have you ever done that? Have you done using a computer or a phone? Yes? Did you communicate by sending a message or calling?
Sending a message and calling.
You have done calling, you have done sending, because you can actually call and verbally tell them. So once you do that, you have communicated, because you have sent a message orally. But when you type, you have sent a message in written form, right? Yes. I hope that one is clear, right?
Yeah.
Then we go to the word technology, so that we understand what is technology. Yes. Oh, you sit here. Okay. So technology. Now technology is the application. It is the application of scientific knowledge. If there is a word you don't know, please you just ask. The application of the scientific knowledge. The application of the scientific knowledge. Tools or machines. The application of scientific knowledge, tools or machines. What don't you know? So that we help you. You're okay? All right. So it is the application of scientific knowledge. We have also said tools or what? Machines that solve problems, and make life easier. life easier. I would really want to know. I would want to know from you. When we talk about scientific knowledge, right? In school, do you have any scientific knowledge you normally interact with? You don't. Any scientific knowledge you are now using in your grade 10? Yes? Anyone? Yeah? Any scientific knowledge? All of you are not taking sciences, including maths. Are you taking? So when you are taking math, do we have any tool or a machine or scientific knowledge that you are applying to solve problems? Like which one? Yeah.
Calculator.
So you are having a calculator to help you to compute questions, right? When you are out there, maybe at home, do you normally have, like you are supposed to collect water from a borehole or something like that? Do you normally do such work? And that is a scientific process. Which machines do you normally use to tap water or find it easier for you to solve that problem? Yes. Use generator so that you can pull water from maybe the river or ocean to the farm. Any other? The motor. Any other? Yeah. The electricity. Yes. I heard about a student from Busia who dropped in Form 1 or 2. He has been able to use the biogas to create electricity in his village, deep in the village. Is that something about what we are talking about? Yeah, so that is something we are talking about. If you can use that scientific knowledge, machines or tools to actually solve the problems that we experience every day, then that is what? Technology. Remember, how easy is it for us, for example, to begin writing a whole book? Is it easy? If you write like in your exercise book and you want to publish a book of 1,000 pages, is it easy?
No.
But how are people doing it now? They are using what? A computer to do so. Are you able to keep messages, for example, for 2 years currently? No. Is it possible that you can keep messages since you are now in grade 10 up to the time you are in grade 12?
Yes.
How? How will you keep? Yes? Anyone who knows how will keep that? Yes? Inda? Have you ever had something known as cloud?
Yes. Yes.
What is that?
This shows us how something.
There is something known as cloud, which is a space. Huh?
Yes.
A space that anyone who has a Google account can actually keep pictures even when you are very small and can keep as many as possible. So that is a way that has helped us to actually solve our problems that we could not solve before. Now let's go to the next terminology. The next terminology is what? Information technology. Now we are putting the word information and technology together because we have already discussed what information is by saying it is data that we process and organize. We have also talked about technology aside. We have said it is the application of scientific knowledge when we are putting to use. Now we want to know what information technology is. Now information technology, it is the use of computers. It is the use of computers to store use of computers to store Okay? Retrieve. Retrieve. Retrieve, I've written that on board. The use of computers to store, retrieve, transmit, and manipulate data or data. Retrieve, we have said to store, right? To retrieve, to transmit, and manipulate data. Remember, we said information is what? It is data that has been processed, right?
Yes.
Then we said technology is what? The use of that scientific information to make our situation easier, whether it is machines, tools we are using. So now we have put the two together, and now we are saying information technology now, when put together, we say it is the use of computers to store, retrieve, transmit, and manipulate what? Data. So that time, for example, your uncle is in America. You go sit on a computer, you type a message, you store it somewhere in a file, then you send it to your uncle. That one, you're already practicing what? Information technology. Even your phone, when you want maybe to communicate to your mother and you don't have the full information, you type the message, maybe you want to take a picture of something, so you are storing, right? Then you are retrieving from your gallery, then you send it to someone and you manipulate in whichever way. You can edit, you can zoom, then you send it. Technology. Now the last terminology, I can see people are very anxious, but let's finish the last word before you can. In case you didn't remove, you can. Information and communication technology. Information and communication technology. So we have put three words together, right? Information and communication technology. So we have taken the word information, we have taken the word communication, we have taken the word technology. Now let us define it. It refers to the integration of computers. It refers to the integration of computers, the internet, integration of computers, the internet, telecommunication facilities, and other media applications. And other media applications. And other media applications or services and other media applications or services in the creation storage, distribution, integration of computers, the internet, and telecommunication facilities, among other applications or services in the creation, storage, processing, and distribution of information. Those who are to remove, you can rush, but those who will remain, we can continue discussing. But learn to be removing your clothes over lunchtime. Rush, rush, rush. Yeah. Yeah, so as they have already gone, I want to ask you, which place do people practice communication, information communication technology? A lot. Where do you see people applying that a lot? In which places? Where do people find themselves using the internet? They are integrating computers and they are using that to make sure that they communicate. They also store, they also distribute information. Where? Where does that happen? Where have you ever seen that happening? Yes, anyone? Anyone who has ever seen ICT being used somewhere? Where did you see that being used? Yeah? In hospitals? Please, please, don't move with a lot of noise. Yeah? She has given us an example of a hospital. Currently, when you go to most, that movement. Currently, when you go to any hospital, before you enter, you will find a secretary will be checking for your names. They'll fill in your names. They'll ask you, are you filling, what is your name? And they'll fill it somewhere, isn't it? And they normally have the internet on. Yes, another place, in schools, good. Schools which have computer rooms, they normally have that. In fact, such a lesson we are supposed to be in a computer room, yes? In banks, yes. In radio stations, yeah. When you go to any radio station, they'll be using that, yeah? Cyber cafe. Any cyber cafe, they have that kind of arrangement. So, how many of you want to be experts in ICT, by the way? How many of you think that you will be experts in ICT? Oh, none. Only one. So the rest are being forced to study ICT, but they don't want it. Yes? Yeah. Did you hear of the story of there is a girl who went to study in America from Baringo. Then when she came back, she opened various hubs where people can actually access information. It's like a library, but it's a virtual library. And I think she's very rich currently. I don't know whether you've heard of that story. Have you ever heard of that? Some people may have heard, others may have not. But when it comes to ICT, it's one of the things that if you use it very well, you are going to make a lot of money. Because we have so many jobs you can do even from your house. I don't know if you have heard about content creation. Because you are the first people to actually learn that as a career, right? Is it found under sports, under STEM or social sciences? Yes? Under sports. I thought it's under social sciences. The career of becoming a content creator.
Sports.
It's under sports.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, so for you to become a content creator, what do you need, by the way? You need ICT tools such as a computer, you can have a phone, you can have cameras, you can actually have you must have the internet. Because anytime you want to forward whatever you've taken, you have to use the internet. And when you are doing that, you normally record, you go edit, and then once you edit, you have created, right? You store in your phone, then you edit, that is processing, then you share. Then when you share, people begin to watch. And then out of the views, you earn, right? Yeah. So that's one of the careers that is related to ICT. Fortunately, that noise. Yeah. So that is our first substrand. Our first substrand was about the terminologies, right? Let me put it here. Then the next will be okay, I think it has toned down a little bit. You told me the secretary is one of you. I don't know. You didn't manage to see the librarian that same day. Oh. You need to try and have those books, because at least if you had them, you would be continuing to check on some stuff as we continue. Yeah, it is elements from components of ICT. Elements or components. I don't know why we have the ceiling but the noise still comes in. I don't know. I thought when we have such a ceiling, we shouldn't have the noise coming in. Or is it because of the door? We can try and close, then see. Yeah, I think it's a bit mild now. Yeah. Yeah, so remember with ICT, The emphasis is that we must have institutions or organizations having information flowing, having the information stored, having the information distributed. The emphasis is on three things. You create, you store, then you share. Now, for that to be shared, we need a lot of things. And those components, I think some of you have heard about them. You've heard people talking about software, right?
Yes.
You've heard people talking about hardware. Yes?
Yes.
They even tell us that a computer has a hardware and it has a software, isn't it? Yes. Even these phones, they have a software in it that makes it to operate correctly. If that software is affected, then the computer or the phone will no longer work correctly. Then we have other components that we need also to learn, more than the two. And therefore, there was an assignment here you are supposed to do in groups. Unfortunately, without the books, I don't know whether we can really do it. Yeah? Then, because of attacks, have you ever heard that a phone can be attacked or a computer?
Yes.
What can attack it?
Virus.
A virus. So, how do we protect our phones or computers from attack? What do we need? We need? What do we need to protect our computer or phone? Yes. There's a password. Anything else? Anything else? What have you seen your parents putting in a computer or phone to protect it from? Yes? Yes? Just say. Antivirus. So those are what we call security systems. It is a component of ICT. Then we have what we call network. Can a phone operate without network?
No.
You have ever seen some cheap phones people buy, but when you're talking, you say, hello, 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 and somebody is not getting it because you don't have the network. Even a computer without a network, it cannot connect even if you have the internet. So those are what we are calling the components. And if you had books now we would be reading, then we come to see. Then, who is this person that manages all these things? Let's say the computers, like we have phones which are made by a company known as Nokia. We have phones known as Apple. We have phones known as any other? Samsung. Yes? iPhone. iPhone, which type? Yeah? So who are these people who normally make these phones and manage them? Because they can, if you have taken a phone from someone, you can be tracked, isn't it? Yes. So what do you think is happening that is making us able to do that? Who does that? Yes? Computer. But there is someone in charge of that computer and controls the tracking. They are control? Yes? So I've heard someone shouting the answer. Yes? Phone trackers, they fall under that. Safaricom also falls under that. Then we have others. Those are called ICT Service Management Centers. They are the ones who manage all that. So I don't know whether this one, without that book, should I really be doing this for you? I don't think so. What we'll do is that you people will have to borrow that book. I don't know whether the librarian will be found today with the parents being around. Then you borrow, and there is something you are supposed to work in groups on page 3. You are supposed to look at some information there. You will see questions. We have questions when they are practical. When you have things with you, it becomes very exciting. If we had a place whereby you can check on internet, I tell you check for this and you check, then we talk about it, it becomes very lively. But I don't know, it may take a long time, but once we have the textbooks, at least we'll try to use that as we hope and pray. You people should really pray that the necessary tools and machines will be made available. But for those of you who have parents who understand, when you go for half term and you have borrowed those textbooks, try so much to do much of the work, because it means when you come back to school, we don't have the resources to use on ICT. Yet ICT is supposed to be more practical, right? Yeah, you're supposed to have computers there, the phones there, so that as we talk about hardware, then we are thinking, where is it? Yeah, a hardware is just a small stuff. Even in a computer, it's very small, almost half of this phone. Then software is, you cannot see it. But when you are loading on your phone, you can actually see that it's loading, or in a computer. When it comes to network, can you see it? You can only see through some signals, like a phone that has full network, you see it has maybe shown some lines. And also when you communicate, it is clearer. I'm told in places like maybe Kakuma and some other sites, you can stay a whole week without network. Who can tell us why that is the case? Why is that the case? And also in some homes, you will go looking for network. You hold like this as you look for it. Where is that network really hidden? Or where do we find it? Yes? Where do we find it? Yeah? In the? Where do we find network? And what affects network? Because those are the components of ICT. As we talk about them, we should think about it. Yes? Have you ever gone to a place and you want to call and you are struggling to call?
Yes.
What happens?
Network.
What affects that network so that you are running up and down and you're not getting the network? Yeah, maybe the structures that are there might be blocking. What else? Yeah? The climate, yeah, climatic conditions. When it's raining, sometimes the network is affected in some areas. Any other? Yeah. That? Oh, trees. So is the trees affecting it positively or negatively? Yeah? When there are many trees, do you have a lot of network or low network?
Low network.
Why? Who can tell us why? When there are a lot of hills, do we have good network or poor network? Then when you compare those people who live on top of a place and those people who live at the lower place, who has network? Yes? Yeah? Those who live in a hilly place compared to those living under. What about those who live in a plain place? So I want you to think about that, because those are the things we should think about. Because you are the future people who should create solutions against such problems. If you find yourself in Lodwa, working in Lodwa, and there is no network, what will you do? Yes, there's no network a whole week, and you must communicate to your people. What will you do? Yes? That's why ICT has been brought to you in class, so that we get to have solutions from the current generation. You people are very creative. It is very possible. I saw again another student from Siaya who has made a phone that doesn't have these coverings. It just has the inner part, but it's working. And that is a standard. I think it was a grade 7 student. Yeah. So you people are very creative because your brain is more developed than even those times. You can do a lot with the knowledge that you are acquiring. So I really hope that you are going to get that book, because actually learning without a book, we are learning without the machines or tools, becomes a bit boring. So we need those. And remember, this one is going to be assessed. At the end of this year, part of your marks is going to be loaded, right? Is it 20%? You are aware of that, right? You are aware of that? Why not? But your final exam last year had marks from grade 4, then grade 6, and then grade 9. They integrated all that. So the same is going to apply here. By the end of this year, your assessment, as I assess how you answer, how you have been able to answer the questions in the subject, you are going to score maybe approaching expectation, exceeding expectation, or whatever it is. So you are supposed to actually have that knowledge with you. So how are you going to make it? You know, like in previous classes, they could study for 4 years before the exam is loaded anyway. But for you, it's going to be yearly. So how are you going to make it that you do well? What is your plan? Have you thought about it? Yes? Have you thought about that? Please think about that. And try to form academic groups early. Try to find a way that will make you remember that information. And also try to find assessment tasks that will lead you towards giving the correct answers, like brainstorming, highlighting, memorizing, you know, all those methods. And that's why I need you to get the books as early as possible, so that you continue revising for the right work. Is there a question about what we've covered? A question about what we've covered? Any question about what we've covered? And the assessment here, according to the text, you are supposed to brainstorm the meaning of information, which we did, process, information technology, information and communication technology, and then you write the meaning in your text. Instead, for us, we talked about it before we could come and write it. So the next task is supposed to be reading a task here, and then after you read, there are questions to do. Unfortunately, without the text, we cannot handle it. You are supposed to have the text before we can handle that, and then there'll be a discussion. You are supposed to sit in groups and discuss what a hardware is. Try to understand what a hardware is, what a software is. You are supposed to understand what network is. You are supposed to understand what security systems are. And finally, you are supposed to understand what ICT service management is. ICT service. Yeah, so you're supposed to check on this and tell us if you know any specific hardwares. You tell us about it, softwares. any networks, whether it is by Telcom, whether it is Safaricom, Airtel, data centers, which ones do you know? Security systems, which ones can offer security to the phone, which ones to the computer, which one can block a certain virus. ICT service management, you look at how is ICT managed so that it's controlled. Like which companies control ICT, the process of creation, storage, processing, and distribution of information. So you're supposed to look at all that. So my prayer is you get the text today so that you are able to actively engage in class, or else without it, it's not that easy. But you can also relate. Some of you have parents who have exposed you to computers, you have parents who have exposed you to phones, and therefore you can be able to help others understand what a hardware is. We have hardwares for printers, for scanners, for computers, for phones, and all other devices. Yeah, we have softwares which suit computers, those which suit phones, and different types of phones. Then we have also networks for different countries. Maybe some of you come from the borderline, Uganda. Even by the time you reach Timber, is it known as what? Timbaruo? Not Timbaruo, here. Somewhere near Uganda. There is a place here, when you just travel across, your phone changes the network to a different network, which is not Kenyan. Then for those who have ever gone to Tanzania, whether you are at Nyabohanse, almost near the borders of the other side, Kisii, or on Taveta, when you go there, it reads Tanzanian network. So you know the name of that one. Those who come from around Somali, maybe near those borders, you also know the network changes, so you can share with us. Then data centers, yeah, we have data centers, those locations where we actually have data stored in an organization. It depends with whether it's a hospital, whether it's a hotel, as you told me, or a school. Then security systems, I think you understand. You have told me about antiviruses, some are softwares, some are firewalls and all that. Then we have ICT centers, which come from different places. Some are just technicians out there. Some are organizations which control the ICT, the processing aspect. So that you find some, we say that this one is serving us better. Like when you open online, you can use Mozilla or you can use what? Hey, am I speaking French? You can use Mozilla or what on a computer when you want to reach your Yahoo Mail or Gmail. Yes? You can use Mozilla or Chrome. We have Chrome, then we have another one. Which one? Huh? Yeah, you can. Google is a whole drive. Then out of that we have the other aspects. Yeah, so you can see why I'm saying that without those machines, it becomes a bit challenging. But we'll have to bear with it, because what will we do? We will not find ourselves doing anything yet. ICT is compulsory, unfortunately. So you must understand those things, because anyone else is needed to be ICT compliant. You are supposed to be aware of ICT and how it operates, so that once you come out of school, you are able to start even your own business and also manage anything around ICT. So if there's no question, please make sure we see how we can acquire those books. Even if we are sharing two of us or three, it will be easier, because it will force you to read, and then once you read, you are able to give answers. But if we had a way we can reach the internet, we could be researching as the lesson goes on. And so we could be checking hardware, software, networks, and all that. It becomes easier. But maybe with time, that will be also available. So if there's no question, we are going to stop there. We cannot learn too much. We'll be learning a small substrand as we move slowly by slowly. Once you have known what we are doing, then we can move a bit faster, right? Yeah, so try so much, because what else do we do? So have a nice day. Let's meet later. Have you been given maybe a remedial a lesson timetable, or we are still not having that? Maybe they are still from 3 and 4? Okay, good day. Bye.